Hello, and welcome everyone to yet another feature of HackerRank Radio. I'm Ben Stollard, General Manager, HackerRank, and it's my pleasure to be your host for the day. Today I'm joined with two powerhouses of tech, and I'm honored to introduce them. First up, we have Jason Vincent. He's a division leader of software architecture and engineering at Daugherty. Jason, welcome to HackerRank Radio. Would you like to briefly introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. Thank you, Ben. So as you said, one of the software architecture and engineering division leaders here at Daugherty, and also have the opportunity to serve as the National Director of Technology and Education Deployment for Access Point. I've been with Daugherty for a bit over 6 years and have been working with Access Point along with Maurice Mahone and Lee Metcalf, Ron Daugherty, Christy Miller, Bill Mitchell, Amy Gunther, Dave Woolley, and some others from the beginning, Karen Dufsky. And prior to my time here at Daugherty, I was with the Boeing Company for 16 years. And so, pleasure to be with you. Looking forward to the conversation today.
All right, great to hear. Okay, thanks, Jason. And next we have Maurice Mahone, who's the Access Point National Program Director. Maurice, if you could do the same and introduce yourself to our audience.
Absolutely. My name's Maurice Mahone. I've been with Daugherty Business Solutions now for a little over 5 years. Right now, I serve as the National Program Director for Access Point, but prior to that, with Daugherty, I was in the business development area and was a client leader. My experience and background is in IT. I've worked at Monsanto, which is now Bayer, also MasterCard in their Global Project Management Office, and I led IT at the Federal Reserve Bank in St. Louis. STEM has always been in my background, and I'm glad to be here to talk with you all today.
We're glad to have you here, Maurice. So thank you for those introductions. So, look, let's get into it. I mean, first, look, our listeners really want to understand what Doherty, what you do there, right? But if I can put it this way, and I'll address this to you, Maurice, if you can describe it to someone who's never heard of it before, what makes you unique?
Yeah. So I think Daugherty is an IT consulting firm. We are the largest IT consulting firm in St. Louis. And what we do is that we will partner with companies to help them deliver business solutions. We will partner with them to bring the expertise that they may not have in order to run large and mid-scale projects. So for example, with Royal Caribbean, we helped with their onboarding process to get cruise passengers on faster. With Southwest Airlines, we helped them with their reservation systems. And we work with companies like that to deliver solutions that their business needs to bring to market quick, and they may not have the expertise in-house, and we will bring that to them. Daugherty has been in business for 35 years.
Okay.
Ron Daugherty is the CEO and founder of Daugherty Business Solutions. And one of the things that I like to tell people about Daugherty, if you want that big consultant feel and expertise at a different, maybe market point, Daugherty is the solution.
Got it. Okay. Great. Got a good understanding there. Okay, so just turning around a little bit to when you first engaged with HackerRank, and then we're going to get a bit more into your programs and how you're running and some of the good work that you're doing out of there. And again, Maurice, I'll address this to you. I think you would have been there when we first came in, but what were the challenges that you were facing that brought you to need a solution like HackerRank? Or
Yeah,
yeah.
one of the things, there were several things, but one of them is to find a way to provide more consistent learning and progressive learning for our access point candidates, and at the same time, give our employer partners some type of satisfaction that they could see and understand how their apprentices had grown from a technology perspective, because as you know, in HackerRank, we can track progress, and also to bring about a nationally known industry-wide solution that most of our partners have either heard of or some of our partners had might have actually already used. But we had to get something in place that would allow us an automated way to teach, track, monitor, and report on our apprentices.
Okay, got it. And Jason, perhaps you can give your perspective of how you're working with HackerRank today as well, just to bring you into the conversation here.
Be glad to. So, Maurice hit on a number of the key things, and HackerRank truly has been highly respected and appreciated across all the different company partners that we work with as we show them the nature of the questions and challenges and the insights that are available and the varying degree of difficulty of the challenges, as well as the opportunity to add custom challenges. And that's been a big deal with every one of our partners in Access Point. We constantly pursue transparency, collaboration, and visibility just around how candidates uh, understand the program, qualify for the program, how we understand what support they'll need throughout and also after the training aspect of the program, and how we make sure together that we're providing real world experience that is going to prepare them for the needs and requirements that the business partners have. And so with those conversations and keeping those requirements first and foremost with our partners, keeping it a dialogue, HackerRank was a great fit when we made that choice, and it continues to be really increasingly a great fit for all that we're doing. And I would only say we also continue to get great feedback from each one of our company partners around the data we show from it, around the development. We also continue to have graduates from Access Point in the past that say, "Hey, can you send me some more HackerRank challenges? I like to grow in this skill." And so,
Wow.
the ability to do that sustainably, scalably, without it taking an unreasonable amount of time to provide those resources, those are all parts of the challenges and the opportunities that HackerRank is helping with for us.
All right. Yeah, I think so. So a couple of interesting things I think you touched on there. One was transparency, and I know HackerRank in terms of our founders, it was very much an ethos of skills over pedigree, and being able to be transparent about the people who can either develop the capability or have that capability. But also interesting to hear that people are asking for tests, because most people I think out there think tests is sort of something they want to avoid at most times, but people want to learn and get on. It's a great benchmark. And I think that's what brings us really to talk about, the Access Point program, which I've had a look at, and it looks fascinating. So perhaps, Maurice, if you can talk about that and just, what is the Access Point program about? How did it come into being? What are you trying to achieve with it?
Sure. So, how it came into being is really, as I said, Daugherty is one of the big IT consulting firms in St. Louis. And as a result of that, one of the things that we do is we facilitate a discussion called the CIO Alliance, where there are multiple CIOs from major companies around the St. Louis area and come together to just talk about things that are on their mind, things that are strategic in nature for them. And one day, the discussion came up on workforce development. And so these CIOs were saying that, hey, we have so many open roles, we're cannibalizing each other. I take from you, you take from me. We need to do something different. And so, with Daugherty helping to facilitate, we came to the point. Well, what are some of the roles that are the ones that you are really having a hard time staffing? And it came down to entry level software engineers.
Right.
These were the roles. And so then we continue to have a discussion with the CIOs to drill down a little farther. And when we start talking about these, it came out that, you know what? One of the things we're missing as well in IT is that we don't have enough African Americans, other people of color, and women. And how do we fix that at the same time as we try to tackle this huge workforce development project? Well, there was born Access Point. So Ron Daugherty, took one of his dreams of always wanting to bring more underrepresented and under-resourced people into IT, and we developed Access Point. Access Point is targeted at high school students, bringing them through very specialized training in conjunction with St. Louis Community College, which is a very large community college system in the St. Louis area. And with St. Louis Community College and Jason, we built a curriculum that kind of mirrored and was what our employer partners really needed entry-level software engineers to come into the door with. So Access Point was built to provide that technology training starting in high school. And also not only the technology training, but as you all know, it takes professional and soft skills to make it in any corporate environment, not alone IT. So we also provide soft skills and professional skills to be able to get these individuals ready to move into a 6-month apprenticeship. And that apprenticeship, one of the things that makes Access Point unique is that a lot of training programs, you train people and then you try to find them a job. Well, through our partnership with these CIOs in the CIO Alliance, they have set aside positions that will be filled if these students naturally perform. So when a student starts, for example, our cohort 4 that started now in January, the job that they will go into, it's waiting on them now, as long as they perform. So those are some things that makes Access Point different. Number one, we target high school students in a specific demographic. Number two, they get college credit for their training while they're with us toward their associate's degree. And three, they have a job waiting for them when they successfully graduate from Access Point. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. And Jason, please add anything that I might have missed.
That was great. I just keep talking about the program. We have a couple of focuses. One of them being hypercare, that really keeps a holistic view of what every individual student needs in order to succeed. We find that, especially as we start from this younger age, that there's a variety of challenges and adversities, especially as we intentionally reach out across, economic classes and really try to make sure that those who normally don't have access to opportunity can get it. There's a lot of challenges that tend to keep either slow down the process towards continuing education, continuing to pursue a great career, or maybe might not even be on their radar because it's not considered traditionally an opportunity that they see from those around them. Um, or they may be interested, but there are too many needs that they're responsible for, too many challenges to overcome along the way, environmentally, etc. And so our hypercare program from start to finish, led by Christy Miller, is really critical to our program. I would also say our K through 12 aspect, and one of the key things here is we actually introduce HackerRank to even prospective candidates for the program, because even the free resources that you all provide are like the job interview preparation kits across languages. Those are huge for students to have earlier in high school, in the middle school, even earlier. They're freely available. And so we put a lot of emphasis on recruiting these young folks and trying to give them more skills earlier. And HackerRank is helping us that early to do that too. Um, I would add as well that the the diversity aspect is so huge for us. You know, we look at diversity not only in terms of ethnicity, um, but just in terms of life experience, backgrounds, things people have done, seen, and different products they use. All of our company partners have a strong belief that if you can get a variety of perspectives and understand, what might be more helpful to a particular part of the customer base that they're serving, and if you have folks that are coming from all the different communities involved, most likely you're going to be able to make the best products and services that you can. And so that's right at the heart of it as well. And I'll end on touching this question that, you can go to Daugherty.com to find out more about Daugherty Business Solutions because it directly ties into why many of our partners have wanted to partner with us to Access Point. You can go to accesspointprogram.com to learn specifically about Access Point, and you'll see
Mhm.
the different skill disciplines that are a part of who we are. And that's been a big part of why our partners in Access Point, our company partners in Access Point, have wanted to collaborate as we look at software engineering, data engineering, and other disciplines that we tend to work on already day to day. And we see how we can create more opportunities for our youth as well.
All right. Well, it sounds like a very, very comprehensive program that
It
is is,
is.
is looking, and as you were both talking through that, it struck me at how difficult a journey it can be for
Mhm.
young people, different backgrounds who probably do think that this type of opportunity is not for them, and then having to sort of nurture them through the program as well. There's obviously a lot of thought that's gone in from Daugherty in terms of doing that. And just touching on the apprenticeship side of
Mhm.
things, I really, really like that because it's something that where I'm from in Europe was very, very popular way before digital in learning skills. Looks like I may have a internet connection. Okay. Can you still hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, you can.
still hear you.
All right. So it was prevalent, and it went away, and it went to you had to go to further education and then come through. But it always made so much sense to me that you would learn on the job over time under a mentor and pick up those skills gradually. So how did that come about? That thought of apprenticeship. I'm interested in that whole aspect.
Well, I'll take a
Touching that
crack at
first,
it
Maurice.
first. Well, the
Yeah.
thought of the apprenticeship piece came about as, we can do very comprehensive training, but there is nothing that prepares a young person better than to be on the job and really in that actual real world working environment. Part of our program, we do a capstone project right before they graduate, which simulates a corporate environment, but it's nothing like actually being there. So that's how the apprenticeship piece came about. We agreed with the partners that they will spend a certain amount of time on an apprenticeship where we will monitor how they're doing. We will get input from you on their technical maturity and growth, their professional and soft skills growth. And as we go through that, we'll do these checkpoints, Ben, to make sure, yeah, this student is okay, okay. And then once it comes time for them to move into a full time role, it's not a lot of ambiguity or subjectivity.
Yeah.
You know, we agree, our partners agree, this person has performed, let's move them into a full time role, or this person needs 1 or 2 more months because we may need to focus them on more specific technologies. And a lot of times that's where Jason and HackerRank, another example of where HackerRank comes in to help.
Okay, and Jason, can you elaborate a little bit more on that in terms of how HackerRank comes in there? Obviously, from the testing side, I think you use our interviewing technology as well. I wonder how they're used in either conjunction or separately. Um, but a little bit more detail on how it's actually used in the process.
Sure. Well, to continue, in the line that Maurice laid out there for us, it's another part of who both we are as Daugherty, who we already were, and also who our company partners are, that there's often a passion for being able to pass on knowledge, being able to teach. Many individuals enjoy that aspect and even find that it helps them to grow stronger. But what is almost always true is many of the individuals that love to do that are also very busy, right? They have limited time to be able to do so, and they probably already have mentees, but they still want to be able to provide coaching, allow individuals to follow them, delegate tasks that can be safely worked on without causing any harm, and make sure there's quick feedback provided. Well, that's another one of the key areas that HackerRank has come in for us. We knew that one of the common uses and benefits, beneficial ways to leverage HackerRank was associated with understanding just maybe who joins a team, who enters a company. But we have seen so much value on just the continuous development process that spans throughout all of their training, all of the 6 month paid apprenticeship that Maurice was just laying out, and then even into when they're full time employees. And that's part of why we value
Right.
that vast library that has, multiple levels of difficulty and has a very wide span of technology. It tends to have all that we need for great practice. And so those mentors and those technical leads, well, they'll partner with us to leverage and identify what are the right problems for this individual to practice on and to help grow on so that he or she, as well as we and others that we're communicating with, kind of agree that they've reached a level of proficiency. It's been interesting because it's actually helped enhance the objectivity and the reasonableness and the alignment of those evaluations, making sure they're fair, making sure that they're continuing to allow growth, and making sure the salary and benefits package associated with it is all lined up to a true skill level. And so, again, it's a tool that's not only at first, not only in training, but to help those individuals that are willing to pour into others to continue along the way, get quick feedback to them, and to be able to look at their results and coach. Now, the interview is where that coaching opportunity is huge. And
Right.
we leverage the interview feature within HackerRank at times, and we also leverage the results that we're able to easily and efficiently access within HackerRank. And we'll pull those out and have individuals conduct interviews outside of the tool as well. Within the tool, one of the things that we did with our Bear partner is we had an individual that we were teaming to grow and scale. We set out a set of goals over several months. Every 2 weeks, we had agreed on specific problems and challenges that individual would learn and work on. He would have solved them already within HackerRank. So then during the actual sprint demo, we'd use that interview feature where all of us could at the same time through screen sharing and through using the HackerRank interview feature, just watch, joining in and looking at the previous results, and then start asking some follow-up questions to help gauge understanding and to coach towards improvement. Questions like, what if this requirement was changed? What would you do to this code? And hey, can you explain how lines 10 through 20 are working? And so we find that capacity to interview extremely important to even further verify just the deep strength and the broadness of the strength, and to continue to help them to think in different ways about what else they might need to do to enhance or make changes for particular problems. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, and so just for the benefit of our audience, so HackerRank we do tests effectively. Take home tests. They do online tests, and we have an interview product which allows you to surface that test that you've done into a live interview where you can, rebuild the code, reallocate code, etc., live and do review on it. So you're talking about what you're doing there is getting the results up and then coaching, challenging them around questions, getting them to think differently, so that you're getting an extra level of learning effectively on top of what they've done there. And that's absolutely great use case for the product. So good music to my ears to hit hearing you doing this. Now, in terms of, we always like to ask organisations about metrics. Can't always share them, but in terms of the program, maybe some of your favourite metrics around it, or any that you're feeling comfortable about sharing. It could be, I don't know, the amount of people that you're able to move into programs, or decelerating the time it took them to learn. Any of those that you can share with the audience?
Sure. Maurice, would you touch
Maurice.
on maybe
Okay,
some of the impact?
Maurice, I think you're on.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
I had put that on when people came in my house. So one of the things I'll say to that, the question around some of our metrics, I'm going to go to the very end, Ben, with one of the metrics that we have really been touting lately. So as we've said, a lot of our students come into the program under-resourced, underrepresented. But as of this month, we have put 75 students into apprenticeships and or full-time jobs, because sometimes, honestly, when they go into apprenticeships, some don't make it through and some find out, this isn't for me. They're young. But we put 75 students through, and so far it has accounted for about $4.5 million
Wow.
in revenue into the St. Louis city and into the region. The students are buying cars, they're buying homes. And so we're actually seeing the result of all of the things that we're doing, all of the technology, such as HackerRank, that we're using. We're seeing the actual results of the goodness that all of this is bringing. And so I'm a results driven person. And so we have started to change the discussion now around, look at what this is producing and look at the change this is making in people's lives. And there are a lot of components that make that happen, Ben. And so that's one metric that I'm really, really proud of.
It's tremendous, and it's great to hear it, and great to hear you talk about it with such an enthusiasm. And you're saying a metric-driven person, and the proof is when those sort of numbers come through. So hearing that is really, really inspiring. It's been a fantastic conversation here. I want to make sure we don't miss anything, though, that you would like further to get out. Maybe any topics at all that we could have covered. I know we've been talking through things here. Is there anything else that we've missed that you would like to cover, or that I've missed asking you, that you would like to surface before we reach the conclusion?
I have a couple, and so first relates to the question that you just asked, and we have wonderful company partners that we have both from a Daugherty perspective and also from an Access Point perspective. For Access Point, it's been the likes of Ameren and Bear and Edward Jones and Cigna, MasterCard, the Royal Bank of Canada, and more. And there's companies out there that are interested in receiving graduates of Access Point. Please reach out to us. You can find more information at accesspointprogram.com. We love to have the conversation. And that relates to what I like to share again, just about the importance of HackerRank in the process. Last year we had about 4,000 HackerRank tests completed by Access Point students. That's quite a few. They had about a 4.4 typical rating, which is actually higher than we expect,
Right.
because if you imagine that we're challenging greatly, to the point where even after I warned our students that when I first started to take challenges of these nature, I really didn't like them too much because I really struggled at them. It was uncomfortable. But the more that I understood how helpful they were towards my growth, towards my understanding of the material, towards my career, then I started to love them and just look for harder and harder challenges. And that's really the journey that they've been on too. So for that kind of a rating, even in light of how much they're being challenged and how much they have to struggle, that's been great. I would say it has also been tremendous in terms of getting feedback to all of our students quickly. We're often serving a couple hundred students at a time, and more. And so the importance of being able to provide realistic experience and get results back to them quickly and figure out where more coaching is needed is key. And so the automation available through your API, the insights available through your tool, the vast library, which we use both modern languages, and we have one of our partners that has apprentices applying COBOL, which has been around a long time, right? But there's plenty of HackerRank
Right.
challenges in there that
Yeah.
allow COBOL
Yep.
as a
Got
choice.
one of
And
those.
yes, yes. And so that's been great, as well as a chance to create our own custom challenges, which we do a lot of too. So you've had a really big role, and I think that's been again vitally important to every partner as we all stay in the journey, not only really even for the access point folks, but even for all employees within our companies, having the best tools that we can have to assist that continuous objective growth. And so, wanted to share that. Any other thoughts, Maurice?
Yeah, and
No,
yeah,
I mean it's a good share, and I think that along the lines of HackerRank, I think it teaches, those teaches lessons too that are not meant to be necessarily taught. So, for example, the plagiarism feature.
yep.
Young folks, Jason has identified plagiarism, and it's good to teach them this is an environment where it's safe that you got away with this. You do this in a corporate environment, you could be fired. And so there's lessons that are taught there sometimes that are just different lessons. And so it's a lot of ways we use the tool, and it manifests itself in so many different ways. It really does.
Yeah. And what I love about that, I mean, I see all sorts of customers who use us, and they look at plagiarism as keeping out
Mhm.
the bad candidates who are cheating and things. But to think of it being used in a sense to teach a life lesson
Mhm.
around what you're getting into is
Yeah.
quite heartening to hear.
Mhm.
And Jason, your point around, I think you're talking about the HackerRank Developer Love Index, which talks about their rating of the test and how much they liked it, right, out of 5. And I think for audience members out there, a lot of people
Yes.
perceive people don't want to do tests, and as you said, it's all sort of under duress. But actually, as a learning tool, it becomes something that you can like. And then the other point, the instant feedback, how important it is to not have to wait for your
Mhm.
results. That can impact your learning time and being able to progress. And those are things, just having this conversation and making me think a little differently as well about. So really, really appreciate those comments and that insight. Sounds, guys, it's been an inspiring conversation. I could carry on for more. Maybe we'll do this again sometime, and I'd love to
Yeah.
check in on the
Mhm.
on this wonderful program that you've got running. But I think we are getting there up on time if my timing is correct. So just leaves me to say thank you, Jason and Maurice. Thank you so much in joining us today and sharing about this. It's really been, educational. And I'm glad that HackerRank is such a key part of that journey for you. And I wish you, great success and expansion with your program. And we'll definitely, with it, wherever we're releasing this, we'll put links to your program so people can get in touch. But
Excellent.
as today, thanks for your time, gents. It
All
was
right.
great.
Thank you very much, Ben. Thanks for having us. This has been great. Appreciate it.
Great.
Yes, our pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Jason.